On December 26, 2004, at 7:58 a.m. local time, the Earth beneath the Indian Ocean unleashed one of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded. Off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, a 9.1 magnitude megathrust quake violently ruptured the seafloor. Within minutes, a monstrous tsunami was born, a series of waves that would race across the Indian Ocean at jet plane speed. In the following hours, it would strike 14 countries without warning, claim nearly 230,000 lives, and erase entire communities in moments. What began as a peaceful morning after Christmas became one of the deadliest natural disasters in human history. The morning after Christmas was supposed to be calm and joyful. In coastal villages across Indonesia, Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, and the Maldives, families were waking up, children playing on beaches, and tourists enjoying their holidays. Fishermen headed out to sea while others prepared breakfast or walked along the shore. Deep beneath the Indian Ocean, approximately 250 kilometers off the west coast of northern Sumatra, a geological time bomb had been ticking for centuries. The Indo-Australian tectonic plate had been slowly sliding beneath the Eurasian plate along a massive subduction zone at a rate of about 6 centimeters per year. Over hundreds of years, the plates had become locked together, accumulating enormous elastic strain and stress. On that morning, the locked fault finally ruptured. The earthquake, measuring between 9.1 and 9.3 in magnitude, was the third most powerful ever recorded by modern instruments. It occurred at a relatively shallow depth of about 30 kilometers. The rupture was extraordinary. It propagated northward along the fault line for more than 1,200 to 1,500 kilometers, one of the longest ruptures ever observed. In some areas, the seafloor was violently thrust upward by 10 to 15 meters. This sudden vertical displacement of such a vast area of the seabed displaced an enormous volume of water, equivalent to the volume of a major mountain range. This violent movement generated a series of tsunami waves that began racing outward at speeds of up to 800 kilometers per hour in the deep ocean. In deep water, the waves were often less than 1 meter high and could pass unnoticed by ships. But as they approached shallower coastal waters, their speed decreased dramatically while their height and energy surged, transforming into towering walls of destruction. In Banda Aceh, Indonesia, the closest major population center to the epicenter, the waves arrived with devastating force just 15 to 20 minutes after the earthquake. Walls of water reaching 20 to 30 meters high slammed into the city, sweeping away entire neighborhoods, cars, boats, and people. The force was so powerful that concrete buildings were torn apart and trains were thrown like toys. Further away in Phuket, Thailand, tourists and locals initially watched the sea recede dramatically, exposing the ocean floor and leaving fish flapping on the sand. Many people walked out to investigate this strange phenomenon, a fatal mistake. Minutes later, the water returned with ferocious speed, flooding resorts and sweeping away everyone in its path. In Sri Lanka, the waves struck during the morning train commute. The coastal railway line became a death trap as massive walls of water derailed and submerged packed passenger trains. In India's Tamil Nadu and the remote Andaman and Nicobar Islands, entire villages were completely wiped out. Even the distant Maldives suffered severe flooding. The tsunami traveled as far as the east coast of Africa, affecting Somalia and Kenya many hours later. In total, 14 countries felt its impact. What made the disaster so deadly was the complete absence of any tsunami warning system in the Indian Ocean at that time. Countless personal tragedies unfolded that day. In Aceh, entire families were wiped out in seconds. Generations vanished as villages were swallowed by the waves. Parents desperately searched for children swept away by the currents, while many young survivors were left orphaned and alone. One remarkable story involved a 10-year-old Swedish girl named Tilly Smith, who had recently learned about tsunamis in school. On a beach in Phuket, he recognized the warning signs, the sea suddenly pulling back, and urgently warned his family and others to run to higher ground, ultimately saving dozens of lives. In Sri Lanka, a mother was violently separated from her daughter by the powerful currents, only to be miraculously reunited days later in a refugee camp. Local fishermen and villagers showed extraordinary courage, using whatever remained of their boats to rescue strangers from the debris. Tourists from dozens of countries found themselves trapped in a nightmare far from home. Yet the scale of destruction was overwhelming. In Banda Aceh alone, more than 70,000 people perished. Many bodies were never found. Survivors later described the deafening roar of the water like 1,000 jet engines, followed by an eerie, haunting silence. The international community responded with remarkable speed and generosity. Within hours, aid began pouring in from around the world. Governments, humanitarian organizations, military forces, and private citizens mobilized on an unprecedented scale. The United States, Australia, India, Japan, and many European nations sent ships, helicopters, medical teams, food, water, and emergency supplies. It became one of the largest humanitarian relief operations in history. However, the challenges were immense. Roads, airports, and communication systems were destroyed. Bodies lay scattered across vast areas, raising fears of disease outbreaks. Millions were suddenly homeless, without clean water or food. Coordinating between numerous aid agencies and local governments proved extremely difficult in the first chaotic days. Despite these obstacles, the global effort helped prevent even greater secondary disasters in the weeks that followed. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami became a historic turning point for global disaster preparedness. In the years afterward, the United Nations and regional governments established the Indian Ocean Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System. New seismograph stations, deep ocean buoys, and coastal tide gauges were installed across the region. Countries developed national evacuation plans, built tsunami shelters, and educated coastal communities about natural warning signs, such as the sea suddenly receding. Indonesia constructed massive protective seawalls and early warning towers in high-risk areas. Sri Lanka and Thailand revised coastal development regulations and launched widespread public education programs. Scientists gained invaluable data that significantly advanced tsunami research worldwide. The disaster also highlighted the critical role of mangrove forests and coral reefs as natural barriers against waves. Recovery was long and difficult. Many communities took more than a decade to rebuild their homes, schools, and lives. Psychological support for survivors remained essential for many years afterward. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami took more than 230,000 lives and changed millions more forever. It destroyed homes, dreams, and entire communities in minutes. But from this immense tragedy emerged stronger warning systems, better international cooperation, and a deeper global awareness of nature's power. The waves have long receded, yet the lessons remain clear. Nature can be sudden and unforgiving, but human resilience, compassion, and preparedness can greatly reduce future suffering. Remembering those who were lost means continuing to protect the vulnerable coasts, so that when the sea rises again, far more lives can be saved.